Hey family, how's everybody doing out there? I wanted to show you something that I picked up from the shops. Now, typically, like many of you out there being awake, I'm sure that you would be sitting in the aisles, like a professor, studying and examining every single ingredient on there, just like I do. However, something slipped my eyesight. Now, when I picked this up, I got this is insanely cheap. Usually I don't buy this brand. 50 cents, take a look at that. Right, 50 cents for a kilo of pot set yogurt. I'd say it's pretty decent out there. I took this home, right, I had another look, pulled it out the fridge. And you will be amazed and surprised. Well, some of you might not be surprised out there, but check this out, right? What does that say? Synbio probiotics. Now, to the untrained eye, somebody sees Synbio probiotics, you might think, that's just that's the title of, the probiotic that's in the yogurt. But what if I told you that Synbio actually stands for synthetic biology?
Synthetic biology is a term many would be unfamiliar with, but it's an industry that could be worth tens of billions of dollars. It's also at the heart of a new program at the University of New South Wales that could change the way we grow food, develop new drugs and manufacture essentials.
It could be a lab like any other, but it's not. This is UNSW's $250 million biotech facility, Synbio 10X.
Synthetic biology is being used to create more climate-resilient and nutritious crops by learning to reprogram how roots branch out or dive deep into soil in search of water. Turning to medicine, synthetic biology promises skin creams that provide protection like vaccines, but without any needles. And new approaches to disease diagnostics that work with the human body so that anyone can know if they are sick or healthy. Yet with all of synthetic biology's promises and upsides, there is no shortage of cultural, economic, and security challenges. Modifying human cells and abilities, patenting DNA sequences, and the notion of creating new life represent very real and ongoing ethical concerns.
To create life, the scientists took a bacterium and removed its genetic material. They then made short sequences of artificial DNA, which were bolted together into a long chain by yeast cells. The artificial genetic code was then injected back into the bacterium, where it rebooted as a whole new life form that grew and replicated as normal. But already some ethics experts have warned that the scientists are playing God and fear what would happen if the new species was released into the environment, and there could be sinister uses of the technology too.
Personally, I think that the greatest issue posed by this research is not really anything to do with the fact that it's artificial life as such. It's to do with the potential for this kind of research to be misused to create pathogens, designer pathogens potentially, that could be used in biological weapons by either state-sponsored militaries or bioterrorists.
This is the dawn of a new age. This is the dawn of a new age of synthetic biology. The race is now on to harness its scientific potential, but it also raises the question, if life can be designed on a computer and created on a laboratory bench, what's the difference between a living organism and a machine?
That's right, the same synthetic biology that, we're pulling out of us, the nanotech, this synthetic biology has all got to do with this transhumanism agenda. That the corporate constructs out there, all the mainstream ones that we see in the supermarkets, they are trying to turn us into these human Homo Borg Genesis 2.0 test subjects.
I think there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs on the medical front, particularly around synthetic mRNA. You can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So, I think with enough, with effort, that's not too crazy. You could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. These are you can basically do anything. You can turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence.
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. That's over. Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, I mean, everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
The many different forms of nanotech, right? Not just graphene, that, you know, we're pulling out of our bodies, we are seeing. You know, this is the enemy of the Most High. They are slowly destroying the Most High's beautiful creation, right? And not only that, our DNA, they are after our DNA. They are after every single facet, you know, of our bodies. So we have to be very, very careful what we're buying and what we are putting in our bodies in this day and age, right? You know, and they can sit on top of their, you know, in their mansions, right, eating their grass-fed organic meat. But you see, we have to eat the bugs. We have to eat the insects. Right, crickets are going to be good for us. You know, we can't consume meat anymore. We can't consume things that are going to be bad for the environment. No. Well, they get to fly around on their world-class, you know, jets, you know, in business class. We, like the cattle, we have to be satisfied with eating crickets, right? They want us eating bugs.
The world's population is projected to reach 11 billion by the end of the century. Feeding that many people will be a challenge, and it is further complicated by the impact of climate change on agriculture. That is why some people advocate an unusual way to boost the food supply and feed people sustainably, by eating less meat and more insects. About 2 billion people already eat bugs. Mexicans enjoy chili toasted grasshoppers, Thais tuck into cricket stir-fries, and Ghanaians snack on termites. Insects are slowly creeping onto Western menus as novelty items, but most people remain squeamish. Yet there are 3 reasons why eating insects makes sense. First, they are healthier than meat. There are nearly 2,000 kinds of edible insects, many of them packed with protein, calcium, fibre, iron and zinc. A small serving of grasshoppers can contain about the same amount of protein as a similar-sized serving of beef, but has far less fat and far fewer calories.
So talk about sustainability.
Nice.
Obviously, large parts of the world will face
really nice
food shortages in the decades ahead. Where does insect production come in?
Yeah, so insects are very sustainable. They require a fraction of the land and water and resources than traditional cattle and livestock. But what's great about insects is that you can grow them in warehouses in the city. So we can create high quality protein right next to consumers as well.
Are there other countries in the world where eating insects is just absolutely the normal way of eating?
Yeah, 2 billion people from 130 countries already eat insects today. But in Australia and other Western countries, we've kind of not learnt how to eat them. So this is why we're getting other products out there. So
enzymes, which is great. You know, we want to be instilling a lot of those enzymes, you know, which are great for the gut, your gut health, your probiotics, you know, your gut bacteria, healthy gut bacteria, you know, so that's what we want. But here we see Synbio probiotic cultures, right? Synbio 100, right? And these are those fake artificial probiotics that are cooking up in their labs, right? And they are trying to feed us, right? So we've got to do our best, right, to always read the labels, right? Read what we are buying. Now, obviously, I don't buy from this brand very often, and it'll probably be the last thing that I'll buy from this brand. But look, Synbio probiotics, just make sure you're very, very vigilant what you're buying. And always, brothers and sisters, always read your labels. I love you all, and we will see you in the next video.